So continue to field more questions here for USMLE. I have a student asking, Mike, when you say memorize the NBME content, are you saying also memorize all of the incorrect answer choices as well? What about the explanations? Can you make a short clip on that? Look, I have discussed this in prior clips, okay? But I will give you some concise updated points as far as to what extent you should memorize the NBME content, the online and offline forms, as well as why you should do that. And those of you who've seen my content before, who already know the answer, I will give you some concise value here as well. So before we get started, I'm going to be my typical asshole, tell you to subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Help grow this channel. Share with one of your friends prepping for USMLE. Help bring awareness to this channel. Hit the like button. Hit the bell if you want notifications. Find me on Instagram at Melman_medical, MEHLMAN_medical. Link is down below. And find me on Telegram. Recently created a Telegram group and channel. The links are down below. Now let me address this fucking question here as far as the NBMEs are concerned and to what extent you should memorize the online, offline material, as well as the incorrect answers and the explanations. I have discussed repeatedly that the reason you're going to be memorizing the NBME questions, 20 through 30 for step 1, yes, 25 through 30 are online. And then for step 2, you're going to be memorizing 6 through 11. Yes, 9 through 11 are online, as well as the Clinical Mastery Series and NBME, which are the NBME subject-specific forms. The reason you're going to be memorizing these questions is because they're exactly the same as the ones on the real deal. It's not my opinion. It's not subjective, okay? Objectively, the questions are the same. There's repeats everywhere. If you memorize forms 1 through 19 for step 1, you're going to see repeats all over 20 through 30, and in turn, you're going to see repeats on the real deal, okay? And I've also received feedback from students. OMG, I had X question from X form on my real deal. So you are going to memorize the NBME content. Some students then have a secondary question. They say, well, Michael, what about the exact number of repeats that would show up? Like, would I have 3 repeats, 5 repeats, 9 repeats, and is that really worth my time? And my response is, irrespective of the exact number that shows up, which, by the way, why wouldn't you study the NBMEs if you knew the repeats were showing up? Why wouldn't you? Okay, I mean, take every advantage you can get. We're talking the medical licensing exam here. But the other point is, irrespective of the exact number that will ultimately show up in your exam from the NBME forms, recognize that by memorizing the NBME questions, you in turn are building mental calibration so that when you do encounter questions on your real deal in which you don't know the answer, you are able to generate a gut instinct and choose the right answer with an augmented probability in your favor, okay? So it's very much a pre-conscious state type of scenario. If you invest heavily into the NBME questions, you're going to have a lot of that NBME content in your pre-conscious state, and then on the real deal, when you don't know an answer, you're just going to guess B. You're like, I'm not sure why it's B, but maybe I saw a similar question on EG offline NBME 22. It looks similar as far as I can recall. I'm just going to go with B. You see what I'm getting at here? So I should not have to be the first person to promulgate this, but that's why it's a point of value, okay? It's a slightly unusual tactic. Not everyone's talking about memorizing the NBMEs, but it's what's going to increase your score the most. Now, let me address the other point of this question as far as should you be memorizing the incorrects as well as the explanations? The answer is it's a gray area as far as the incorrects are concerned. If you get a question with high yield incorrect answer choices where, let's say it's a cardio question and you have cardiac tamponade, pericarditis, cor pulmonale, you've got a lot of similar answers that are very high yield diagnoses, you should know how those conditions present, okay? If you get a question where, e.g., it's all different weird enzymes, no, you don't necessarily have to know those answer choices. So you do, unfortunately, have to use a bit of intuition as far as what might be high yield versus low yield without getting overly bogged down in the minutiae, okay? So, because if I have to give a broad answer as far as should you memorize the incorrects or not, and it has to be a yes or no. There's no way around it. I would say no to the incorrects. I want you literally memorizing the correct answers from 20 through 30 for step 1, where you can look at the unanswered questions, the unhighlighted questions, and say, yep, that one's A, that one's D. You see what I'm getting at? We can make this an extended clip, go in circles around these points. I will make future clips, so you know the deal. If you like my stuff, subscribe to my channel. And I appreciate your time. That's it.